Welcome, everybody, to tonight's show. We are talking about your journey, my journey, influencing other people's journeys. Who is responsible for your journey? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more about your legacy right after the intro. Each of us are on our own unique journey. If you have children, you know this. You know that each one is a very unique individual and they kind of go down their own path, right? And with friends, same way. You know, some that are going to be just more outgoing. There's some that are more introverted. There's all different people, and we all each have our own journey. So stop trying to force someone to change their journey. We do this on a daily basis. Some of us want to force them. You want them to think like we think. You want them to be like we are. If you're hi Amber, thanks for coming along. When you have your own journey, there's not I'll use myself as an example. There's not everybody that wants to come on here and do this every week. They don't want to do a show. There's other ones that are going to be on Facebook Live doing shows 7 days a week. I envy them because I can't believe how they can come on and do a show and there's multiple people in this particular one, but they do it 7 days a week. They come on and inspire and motivate people 7 days a week, and I think that's just fantastic. I envy them. But we're each on our own unique journey. So that's the first thing I want to get out there is stop trying to change someone else's journey. If you're a parent and your child is really strong in math, don't try to force them to go down a different road. Relish that. You can bring the other things up along the way so that they at least know the basics or part of that. But if you have someone that's their math is their thing as a child, then let them go. Let them relish that. Let them do it. So many times in the past, there have been parents that have forced their journey. They only knew one way. If a person was a surgeon, they wanted their son or daughter to be a surgeon just like them. Or back in the 50s and 60s, it would have been a gender, or earlier than that, but it would have been a gender division thing too. It could have been if you had a daughter and your daughter wanted to become a surgeon, dad's a surgeon, he'd be like, no. Women aren't surgeons. You can go and be a nurse or something of that. They may hold them back on their journey. And so you never know what is going to happen or what influence you have on someone. Instead of inspiring them to become the best at something that they really want to do, you can take that and squelch that very easily if you're not in the right mindset. And the first thing you have to realize is that we each have our own unique journey. Dun, dun, dun. That's really the biggest thing that you got to realize. First off, you can hang out with friends that are on the same mission in life. We're going to save things. We're going to do whatever it is, but you have to realize that each one is going to be unique and different in their journey. And so relish that and help those individuals along the way. In segment 2 tonight, I'm going to get into different ways and responsibilities of that. But when you are on your legacy journey, and that's really what I've really embraced this year, is what do I want to leave as a legacy? Who do I want to leave that for? And legacy means different things to different people. And when I say legacy, it may ring true as far as the amount of money or inheritance, or it could be knowledge. It can be different things for what resonates in your heart. And what you want to leave, that's the place that I'm coming from. What do I want to be known as when I'm gone from here? And if you're on my email list, I take you through really some concise steps to provoke your mind to think about that. Because each of us have our journey. I'm not going to be a doctor or a surgeon or a nurse. It's just not in me to be that. I can be compassionate to people. I can help you become the best individual and find your heart's desire and inspire you and find ways to make that and create that in your life. But I'm not going to be the one that you're going to call to do an operation on your brain or on you at any point in time. So here's the point that I'm making, is that make sure that you as you're having conversations, listen and embrace the other person's journey. And it can also be that they haven't hit their rock bottom yet. Could be that they're on the downward path, because we all have those people in our lives from time to time. Especially at 54 years old, I've seen people come and go and go down the wrong path, and you want to grab them and you want to shake them and say, wake up, we don't want to see you, but we don't want to see you go down that path. We don't want to see you, hurt yourself or not be with us, but there's nothing we can do about that. If it's their path, if it's their journey, that's their journey. And that's a tough thing to do, because it's like watching an accident happen in slow motion. Something's going to happen and you hope for the best, but that something bad is going to happen. And those are the toughest journeys to just sit back and watch, because you want to help them. You want to do that, but it's their journey. As I was a Reiki practitioner, that was the toughest thing that I had to accept, is that if there's anything that I feel intuitively that could forewarn them of some negativity or something that would be happening in their lives, I can't really tell them about it. I can't say that to them, because it's their journey, and you have to embrace that for other ones, because that's also, now think of it on your side of the fence, because you don't want others to come and try to squelch your journey. If you're on the path to doing some magnificent, and we all are, trust me, there is some magnificence inside of you that is happening. And it's there. There's a life that you're going to touch. There's knowledge that you're going to bring to someone else. There's compassion that you're going to bring to someone else. And you're on the path to showing that and doing that. And you don't want someone to impede, if it's your life, your journey, you don't want someone to impede that on you, to squelch that. To squelch your journey, to make you feel uncomfortable that you're on the wrong path, when you feel in your heart and your desire that it's the right path. So it comes back to the old saying, do unto others. And you want to do the right thing unto others, which is, it's their journey. Don't try to change it. And embrace their journey. If it's not part of your life, if it's something that's negative, if it's something that is illegal, if it's something of that sort, that's okay. Just walk away. You don't have to, give them a lecture. You don't have to do things of that sort. It could be that it's just got to be something that they do at this moment in time that's going to get them to a breakthrough down the road. Hopefully nothing bad happens, but you can't control that. It's their journey. Get it? Enough said. It's a tough one. It's very, very tough to let someone else live their journey. When it's a negative, if it's a positive, it can go the other way, that you're going to be like, wow, this is just knocking out of the ballpark. It's an awesome, they're doing a great thing for mankind. They're doing something great for the world. Boom. But every greatness had their bottom. Always remember that. Whether it's a business, whether it's in life, every greatness that has evolved and is inspiring you today by either reading their book, reading their story, going and seeing them, all of them had a rock bottom at some point. They were sleeping on someone else's couch because they didn't have enough money for their own apartment or house. They were running their business out of their garage, like Steve Jobs did when he started Apple. Everyone has their rock bottom first before they rise to the top and become that inspirational. Remember, Tony Robbins was homeless at one point, so it's out there. It's out there, but let them have their journey. If he was not homeless, if he didn't go through the childhood that he went through, Tony Robbins wouldn't be an inspiration to millions of people right now. So always remember that in the back of your mind. And always take 100% responsibility for your actions. And let me define that a little bit more. Take 100% responsibility for your reaction. Everything we do, and going upon what I just was talking about as far as a person's journey, another person's journey. Everything that you do, say, be, have is influencing other people, but you're responsible for every one of those reactions that you gave that caused those things. Okay? So in life, we only have 100% control over 50% of a relationship, of a conversation, of your reactions. So if you're in a conversation or if you're in a situation of any sorts, we only can control what we can do during that time. This came up in a little messaging back and forth that I did with a person this week. And it was enlightening to him that, you know, to think of the aspect of that you're reacting. So if someone, the most extreme case is if someone gets just up in your face and is yelling and yelling and yelling at you, just envision that just right next to you, just right there. He's waiting for a reaction, and your reaction is going to then trigger his reaction to it. Get that? It gets a little bit more like a Abbott and Costello routine if you go farther than that. But what you're doing is, if you think of that as how am I reacting? If you ask yourself that question, how am I reacting to this? And in that situation, you're either going to push that person away, you're going to yell at that person and then strengthen his negativity, his anger, or you're going to lash out at him, or you're going to be there and you're just going to be calm within your face. All this week, for some reason, I keep going back to, and this is my childhood, the TV show Kung Fu. I'm not going to get into how biased it was and all that stuff, but the thing that was the most prevalent within that whole show was how cool, how calm, how centered. If you do yoga at all, or if you do anything, meditation, we talk about being centered, right? We're going to talk about that, the chakras, and we're going to be centered. And when you're centered, it's like you're not reacting, or I should say your reaction is the calmness. When you and I have not learned martial arts, but I have, thank you for the hearts. But when I have been told by other people that do martial arts that is part of the whole action to it. You're reacting, but you're your reaction is to calm the storm. Does that make sense? It was hard for me to grasp for a while. But your reaction to every action. So ask yourself, when something happens, you're driving down a highway and someone cuts you off. How are you reacting? Where does that come from? If you react real, nervous, anxiety, what are the emotions that you're feeling on that? And ask yourself, how am I reacting? Now, all of a sudden, you take the emotion out of it. You take the negativity out of it. You take all of that, and it becomes a positive flow. And when it becomes a positive flow, now you're going to attract, because we only attract that same energy. Like energy attracts like energy. So as we take 100% responsibility for all of our reactions, we're going to slowly and surely, as we get better and better at this, we're going to calm the storm. We're going to calm the storm that's out there. We're going to calm the storm that we encounter every day. We're going to calm the storm. And then when we get calm, we become one with the present. And the only thing that comes out of that is love. And the only thing that you can then attract to yourself is calmness and love. It's pretty simple, but you have to practice it to get to that place. And where I go back to the show of Kung Fu with David Carradine, that was his character in there. He had to learn and he had to master that before he could go out and to the world. And as he came up against discrimination and he came up against all these, different things, he had to always be calm, because the reaction wasn't giving them something to then bring in the negative energy and strengthen their negative energy and battle him and do harm to him. So that was the challenge within there. And I always reflect back to that. And I'm sure that for some reason that's embedded in and ingrained inside of me. But think of that as you go through your week. As you go on day to day, moment to moment, think of how you're going to react. Every situation, just kind of give it a thought for a moment, or even at first, you're going to do it after the fact. Something's going to happen, and then after the fact, you're going to then go, oh, I wish I would have reacted a different way. I wish I would have not said that, or I wish I would have, and then it goes from the future tense to the present tense. Eventually, you're going to get so good at that by asking that question of yourself of how are you reacting? How do I want to react? How do I want to be known later on? What do I want to leave for a legacy for my children, my grandchildren, my tribe, the people out there? What do I want to leave for them? And what do I want to be known as? And you're going to be known as your reaction. So if you're in a team of people, or a group of people, and they all have to work collectively, and you have one or two that aren't quite doing it, aren't quite fitting in, think about your reaction to them. So if they are challenging you, if they're challenging your decisions, if they're challenging yourself somehow, think of how you want to react to that. Do you want to just react to that in a positive way? Do you want to take and the hardest part to all of this, if you're an American, is leaving your ego out of it, because we all want to have our big ego. I'm so good at what I do, or I know everything, and all of that good BS that you all of a sudden want to, I'm going to challenge them, and I'm going to, strike out, and I'm going to, strike out at them, and I'm going to tell them what to do and all that good stuff. But for a moment, sit back and just be the calm in the storm. Think of what you want to be portrayed in the big picture down the line to your children, your grandchildren, your tribe, your legacy that you're going to leave to them. Hi, Kyle. Thanks for coming on board. But the first thing is you're going to take 100% responsibility for every reaction you do. It's as simple as that. So you want to just do that by asking yourself that question: how do I want to react to this? And you want to be that calm in the storm, because then that opens up a void for love just to come into that whole situation. And that is a magnificent thing. I can attest to that every day here at our household. And that brings me to, boy, time is flying tonight. Your legacy, building your legacy. How do you want to be known for your legacy? Make sure you sign up. I put little notes here. So make sure you sign up to get notified for these, because, and Lord knows if they even work anymore, because I put out that I was going to go live and I saw no notifications going out to anybody. So I think Facebook was neglecting me tonight. But make sure that you sign up to get those notifications at Dave Stelma, Facebook /Dave Stelma. And make sure you share this out to your friends if you can. That would be great. I would love you for it. But in this third segment, I'm going to talk about building your legacy. One, if you sign up for my email list, I don't know if you get that or not, but if you do, you're hearing me talk about this constantly in my emails right now. And there's the first thing you want to do with building your legacy, and it all goes together, is, as tonight's show I'm talking about, it's your journey. It's not my journey, it's your journey. And that's the toughest thing that when people come to me and they start asking me questions as a life coach, and they're just like, tell me the secret sauce. I want to know how to do this and I want to do that. And I'm like, I don't know anything about that. Or I may know that, but I'm like, what do you think it is? What road do you think it should go down? And I started kind of throwing questions back onto them, because it's really not my journey. And I have to first figure out whether it's their journey or not. And sometimes we think that we're on the right path and we're not on the right path. Ask any heroin addict. That's a real extreme case, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of that going around right now. And if you sat down with a heroin addict, they'd be like, this is the best thing in the world, and this is what I really want to do. And the rest of the world is looking at them going, that's not the right path to go down. You're in the wrong path. But it's their journey. They have to hit whatever their wall is, and hopefully they'll bounce back and be saved from that. But it's their journey. So we got to first find out what that is. We have to embrace it. And then we have to really start making a plan and then be persistent. So what do you want to be known as after you're long gone? That could be 20, 30, 40 years from now. So don't freak out and go, that's way too far out there. Or, boy, I don't know. Let's start making a plan, and let's start just chopping away at it. It takes more than one swing at a tree to make it fall down. So let's get going on that. So what do you want to be known as for your legacy? I'm going to tell you how to build it first. These are steps I take my clients through. One, right now, today, you're dead. Boom! What are you known for? If you died today, what is your legacy that you have built thus far? And don't worry about it, but just realize it. What is it? Once you get through that part, then we're going to go forward. Whoop! Miracle. We put the paddles on you. We brought you back to life. Now, you're going to live for another 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, whatever it is down the line. When you pass, if in 30 years, that's when you pass, what do you want to be known for? And I take my clients through the system of in 10 years. In 20 years, in 30, we go by 10-year segments out. And what do you want to be known for? And then we start working on those segments. We got to start honing down. What do we want to work on? Do we want to leave our family and friends with debt, our tribe with debt? Well, that's great. If you want to leave them with debt, let's go get a whole bunch of credit cards. We'll max them out. And then when you die, they get to take over the payments. Could be that simple. That'd be great. Or if you want to go the opposite way, I want to have millions of dollars that I have saved up for my family, my friends, my tribe. That financial is a great thing to look at. Now, what do we want to do? What do we want to leave health-wise? What example do you lead health-wise? Do you eat really well? Do you exercise on a regular basis? Do you run half marathons? There's Tough Mudders now. There's CrossFit. There's all these different things. Everyone is different. Everyone's got different journeys. Some are going to go to an extreme, I think extreme, and they're going to do, bodybuilding or muscle competitions, body sculpting competitions, things of that sort. Other ones are going to go with more athleticism, and they're going to go with aspects of, could be CrossFit, could be the Spartan races, things of that sort, different ones that are out there. And so everyone's going to have a different, and other ones are going to be like, you know what? I just go for a walk. I get my 10,000 steps in a day, and I go for a walk, 5 days a week or something of that sort. And so everyone has their own journey health-wise. So break it down to wealth, health, so financial, physical, and spiritual. And spiritual is the next part that I want you to look at too. And spirituality doesn't necessarily mean whether you're a Catholic or a Lutheran or a Protestant or whichever religion. It doesn't necessarily mean religion. I'm not talking religion here. I'm talking about your spirituality. What do you truly believe? What's ingrained in your heart that you live every day? Because we all know people that go to church every Sunday and sit in the front pew and smell like pew and go there because they want forgiveness, because they are, all week long, they don't live a spiritual life. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about spirituality. What's ingrained inside of you and that you live on a daily basis? You do the right things. You react in the right way for you. And what are those things? And that's what I mean by spirituality. So if you break it down to those three groups, health, wealth, and spirituality, and just go one at a time. And that's what we break down and the three groups of what do we want to leave for our legacy. So monetarily wise, physically wise, and by physical, the other aspect is, what do you have? Anything that you touch that you physically are tangible and that you do as far as your body, that's all part of it. How do you eat? What do you do for your health-wise that way? And what do you have for things? Materialistic things. That's all part of the physical aspect to it. So where you live, how you live, all that good stuff, because it all affects you health-wise. It affects your health on a daily basis, where you live, how you live, what you do, what you have. If you have expensive, or if you have workout equipment, obviously it gives you the advantage of being more healthy, right? Or if you have money, now you can be more healthy. And then spirituality, that's the love that's in there, and how you treat others and how you react to others. That's all part of that spirituality, beyond doing meditation and things of that sort. So, in closing, oh my gosh, the time is clicking away and going by really quick. Where's the I should just start doing an hour, huh? Ember's probably like, no, takes you long enough. Takes a whole night to do a half-hour show. But as you're building your legacy, think of this. We talked tonight about your journey. Everyone has a unique journey. We talked about taking 100% responsibility for your reaction to every situation. And think about those two components as you're laying out your plan for your legacy. What you want to be known as. Where do you want to be or what do you want to leave, I should say, for your family, your children, your grandchildren, the tribe that you've built up over these years? Because they're all watching you. They all love you, and they all want a piece of you in a good way. In a good way. So think about that as you're writing down your notes and making the notes. And I hope you are. I hope you're doing that. I hope you're making notes and starting to see this kind of start to come alive for you. Because your legacy is going to be the only thing that people are really, truly going to remember you for. And is what you bring to them, what you have brought to them, and what you bring to them after you're gone. And that's how we have influence over how great the world is and how great we leave it. All right. You have a great week. I'll be back here next Tuesday, 6:30. Hopefully, Facebook puts out reminders next week. They neglected me this week. But until next week, be good. Have a great week. And hugs and love. See ya. Bye-bye.
If you like this video, like my Facebook page or subscribe to my YouTube channel, or find everything at davestelma.com.